All right, well, happy Memorial Day, guys, and we're here for another Market Monday. Thought I'd switch it up a little bit today. Just got back in town. I was able to pick up a few things while I was traveling, so a little bit of Japanese Rebel Clash. We'll start with Pokemon first. Vivid Voltage, and then pack of Weiss Schwartz Gun Gale Online, so it's like a side story or an alternative to Sword Art Online, which is one of my favorite anime of all time, and I just thought the pack was pretty cool, really cool color. And then some Power Rangers cards, so a bunch of different stuff. Thought we would open these up while I just did a quick Market Monday for you. So something I wanted to talk about today is supply and how important it is in this hobby, and how impatience and a lack of understanding of supply can really hurt you as a collector. Something I'm seeing a lot of is people overpaying for especially modern slabs that I think, at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of down the road. And something that worries me is that people are paying prices, or have paid prices, that have subsequently retraced, nothing in that pack, a little bit of Rebel Clash, that may take 10 years to recover, if ever. And there's a few reasons for that. When you think about supply, it's really a big unknown, right? Let's open some Vivid Voltage. Supply is a huge unknown because we don't know when it comes to slabs, how much is in grading at the grading companies, how much is in people's collections waiting to be graded or might never be graded. And we don't know what those grades are going to be, right? But we do know one thing, and that is populations can do nothing but increase for graded cards. There are exceptions to that rule. For example, if a certain trophy card had a certain amount issued, and green gold card. Trophy card had a certain amount issued, all of them have been graded already, then we know that pop's not going to move. But an important thing to note, as I struggle with this, is that for most cards, populations can only go up. So I think we need to be, here's a free code card for someone. I haven't played the online game, but I should. What we need to be really, really careful of when it comes to, especially modern slabs, I think, when you're buying, is understanding that supply. So that supply side can do nothing but go up. And so when we, that's a cool Diglett in the background. So when we look at, some of the prices people have paid for certain cards, the unfortunate reality is, those cards have retraced already maybe 50%. That could be I always love this card. That could be part of that is, future expectations of populations going up, right? So people are fearful of more supply coming online, and prices have started to tank. People are offloading those. That can be a huge driver, right? Because markets are basically predictive, or better said, markets are a function of people's future expectations. I love this card. And because of that, it drives largely by fear and greed, which we covered last week. And so, pick up back, and a B-drill. It's kind of the bane of most collectors' existence, getting a rare non-hollow B-drill, but apparently King Pokemon really likes them. So, let me pause real quick from opening. We'll open these two in a minute. But something I want to touch on is the fact that, you need to be really careful understanding, where populations could go and where the supply side could go. Because, for example, if there's 1,000 people that want a certain card, over time, and that population ends up being 5,000, well, you've got a very big supply-demand imbalance. And what happens when there's a supply-demand imbalance is, if the supply outweighs the demand, you're going to end up getting prices falling, right? So you need to be really careful, especially with a modern slab, what you're buying. But it goes for vintage too, right? We've seen base set, unlimited hollow Charizard go above 23,000 graded examples. I was listening to the boys on the Cards and Cartridges podcast, OG Retro and Koozie Retro Games, and they touched on that, and that number is like, can there possibly be 23,000 people who are going to want that card? Maybe. It's hard to say, but it can certainly happen with vintage as well. But with modern, how I look at it, with either modern or less rare, let's say commons and uncommons from popular sets, how I look at it is I will wait 5 years to buy that card. And that's largely because nothing in collecting needs to be rushed. I mean, yes, sometimes a really great deal pops up on a rare card with a low population and a decent price, and you gotta strike. But largely speaking, I mean, a base set unlimited Charmander, right? I mean, everyone might want one of those in their collection, right? You want all the starters if you collect unlimited, what have you. But like, do you need it right now? And what I see and what I like to say is that rarely does a rushed investment or a rushed purchase make for a good one. So I'll say to most people when I'm looking at a card, if I see a modern slab and it's like $150 for a Crimson Invasion Gyarados, the hyper rare rainbow one, love that card. I think that I'm willing to wait 5 years and see where that population goes and where those prices go. So we'll open another pack here, and I'll just keep going over some of my thoughts on supply. But the biggest thing I would say is that you just got to exercise a little patience and study those pop reports a little bit. I mean, the pop reports aren't the be all end all, but my goodness, you got to understand, what you're paying for, right? Because rarity is important, and it's very important to collecting. It's one of the fundamental principles. So let's take a look at these Weiss Schwarz cards. These are really cool. I've actually only opened Japanese, so it's neat to have some English. Very cool. That's funny. I like that it has the quotes on it. Big fan of that. So, yeah, it's really tough, guys. You just got to protect yourselves when you're collecting, Like, you just got to understand that your entry point is so important. And if supply explodes, or people expect supply to explode, you're going to see a drastic decrease in those prices, especially if the demand doesn't come along to meet the supply. I have no idea how these cards go in what order, by the way, but I love that they're just really cool snapshots of the anime. So, that's really cool. The heck is going on there? Look at that thing. That's really, really cool. I haven't watched Gun Gale in a long time. So there's a landscape character card, which I really like in Weiss Schwarz as well. But what the heck? That's a really cool card. I can't remember this character's name, but it's really neat. Yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, guys, I hope you are enjoying this, a little bit of a different Market Monday. But something I just really, really want to get across is that you just have to protect yourselves. And I think that everyone could use a little bit of patience when it comes to their collecting, because we don't know how the supply is going to pan out for a lot of these items. It's basically a crapshoot, This is a really cool card. I love opening stuff that just looks beautiful, that I have no invested interest in. I could care less what the value is. I just like that it has a really cool aesthetic. So can't wait to remember what the heck, this character is and what scene that's from. Pitahui, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, so let's open the Power Rangers pack and finish off today's Market Monday talking about supply and how important it is to understand that side of the equation. I think people just don't pay enough attention to that. They just think, hey, trees grow to the sky. this stuff's going to be popular forever. Prices are going to the moon. And, basic economic principles don't come into play. And so what I can really just encourage you guys to do, if nothing else, just please think before you make your purchases. I mean, this isn't even about investing, right, guys? It's not, let's see, we got through a few commons, rare, and a special insert. So hopefully it's just in order. I have no idea. But, investing is one thing, right? If you're looking at these are neat. White Wild Force Ranger. If you're looking at a long-term play on an item, do your research, really understand that. If you're looking at a short-term flip, understand what that, time frame's actually going to look like, and how the supply could change, in the interim, right? If you're buying a raw card to grade, or you're buying a slab and trying to flip it, you got to be really, really careful. There we go, little Red Ranger. Because there's two sides of it, right? There's more than two sides, but there's people who are just collecting, right? So if you're just collecting, understand that you can be patient, right? This is a long game, especially if you're young. Pokemon's gonna be around for a long, long time. It's the biggest IP in the world. That's really cool. It's the biggest IP in the world, and I can't stress enough that you don't have to rush to make any purchase in this hobby. Oh, that's a cool card. I like that. I like that a lot. And then when it comes to investing, okay, so here's the holo. Silver Space Ranger. It's pretty neat. It's been a long time since I've watched Power Rangers, but my boy Polka Dreamer has inspired me, and when I saw these, I had to pick them up. So yeah, guys, what I would say is that, on the collecting side, it's a long, long game. And on the investing side, it really should be as well. The shorter and shorter term you get with investments in Pokemon, the more and more risk you're probably putting onto yourself, and just a little more stress. So what I can say is, be patient. If you're truly trying to look at this in an investment, honestly, when it comes to supply, it's why I talk about, it's funny that I just opened all these, because keeping these sealed, I mean, this is modern, but let's say vintage, right? I'll grab one of my vintage boosters. So keeping this sealed is probably the best long-term play in this hobby you could possibly make, right? Because at the end of the day, the supply of this can only go down, because as people rip it and they're not making any more, the supply goes down. So yes, prices on these have elevated, and you still need to be really careful if you're buying this today about your entry point, what the long-term potential value is in something like this. But I can tell you that I have more confidence in keeping this for 20 years than I do in buying some sort of modern slab, like a special delivery Pikachu today, or, I don't know. People are probably grading this promo Charmander from Battle Styles already, which is a sick Charmander, but there's like a bajillion of them probably. So just protect yourself. Be super careful. Collect what you love always. Always, always, always. That's why you see me opening, Weiss Schwartz Gun Gale Online and Power Rangers. Like, I just love to collect really, really neat, fun stuff that resonates with me. Even stuff like this, Topps Pokemon, just like really unique items, and just enjoy them, guys. And just remember, entry point matters, supply matters. Understand whether you're making a collection purchase or what you believe to be an investment, you need to understand how the supply of that item changes or could change over time. So guys, without any packs left, I guess we're done here, but we had a few cool pulls, and as always, I'm Connor from Rock Pokemon, and collect what you love.